Well, I'm here at PJ's Ducati Triumph to test ride this new Scrambler, and it's a pretty badass bike. It's got a non-stock Terminioni exhaust. Alright, I'm going to bring these in a little bit. Oh, it sounds so good. First gear. So the 2015 Ducati Scrambler comes with a 2-valve 803cc motor, produces 75 horsepower and 50 foot-pounds of torque. It does have a 6-speed gearbox, ABS brakes. Curb weight is 410 pounds. Seat height is 31 inches. The Scrambler comes with Pirelli MT60 tires, which is a good dual sport tire, 60% street, 40% off-road. Did very well on both, I'd say. I was actually quite impressed with how well those tires did on the gravel roads and on the rocky trail. Two of the things I would change on the bike, although it is very comfortable, are the seat and the foot pegs. The seat has a crease for the step up for the passenger portion, right where I sit. I like to sit away from the bars, away from the tank. I don't like to be too up close. I like to have my arms stretched out. That caused me to have to sit right on the step up for the passenger pillion. So I would change that. The foam also felt a little hard, and the seat could be a little wider if you're going to be in the saddle for long periods of time, although it's not really a bike designed for touring. The foot pegs were slender and slippery. They look like the same foot pegs on the Panigale, and people that own that bike complain about the foot pegs being too slippery, and so that's one of the first things most people change. And if I owned a Ducati Scrambler, I would definitely change the foot pegs, especially if I'm riding it off-road where I'll be standing up. The ergonomics felt great. The handlebar height was good. Some people who have ridden the bike told me they would prefer the handlebars to be lower, but these are guys that ride street only. If I owned the bike, I would be riding it on dirt and I would be standing, so the handlebars were ideal. Maybe I would add 3/4 inch or so bar risers. Seemed like there was plenty of slack in the cables to allow that. The brakes worked really good. They were nowhere near as good as the brakes on the Panigale, either the 899 or the 1199 that I rode, but they're good brakes. There was some brake dive in the front forks when I applied the brakes, a little bit more than I would like. The rear suspension felt fine. It felt planted. There's what she looks like. It's a good looking bike. Looks like it's super thick padding on the seat. But see, there's a cutout right here. I don't know if you can see that on the video. And I'm sitting right on that. I think these are interchangeable or something. There's different ways you can customize this bike. Look at that taillight is on. So you don't have to hold the clutch. Beautiful. They still got the same rubber design on the gear shifter. I can't believe my eyes, because it still has the little indentation, the little flat spot for where it used to say Cagiva I can't believe it. It's 2015 and they still got the same gear shifter from the 80s. Oh wow, it's got a rev limiter. So the red lights come on at like 9,000 and then the rev limiter at 10,000. Acceleration on the bike wasn't bad. It was a little bit slower than my 900 Super Sport, which is also 2-valve per cylinder. I did find myself pinning the throttle quite a bit. I figured out that the red line is at 9,000 RPM. It doesn't show up on the digital display, but when you reach it, it flashes red lights. And then the rev limiter came on at 9,500 RPMs. So when you hit 9.5K, the motor starts to cut out. It won't let you go any higher. I don't know if that can be removed through remapping. I assume that it can. My guess is this bike did not get remapped. It only had the Termignoni exhaust put on. It seemed like it was running lean because it was a lot of popping on deceleration. Soaking up the bumps surprisingly well because this is all washboard. Damn, I really like washboard. You only live once. But you can stand on it. Man, this thing does better than my V-Strom. It's because it doesn't have all that fairing. Like V-Strom just is always rattly. And I got that big windshield. This is a pretty rocky trail, so it's doing it, man. You could definitely ride this in the mountains. And I don't know what the weight is. I'm guessing it's 400 pounds. Pretty sure that's what it is. And the foot pegs are just so slick. I don't know if I could show you them. I mean, they're just stupid slippery. That would be a reason to go down. It would be because my foot, while I'm standing, would slip off that thing. Here comes somebody on a KTM 690 Enduro. He's probably wondering what the hell. It feels more competent on the dirt than my V-Strom 650. Part of that, I think, is because it's a naked bike. It doesn't have any fairing for jiggling around or... The foot pegs absolutely got to go. They're way too slippery and skinny. But you can stand on this bike, and you know, I don't even have bar risers on it. So up to this point, I've ridden the new Scrambler on twisty back roads and a little bit of dirt, and what I can say is the bike feels equally at home in both places or both surfaces. It's not a flat-out sport bike. It is not an enduro. It's something in between. It's a scrambler, and it's a lot of fun to ride. So here I entered the freeway, I-40, going through to Harris Canyon, and I don't know if there was a breeze coming at me, a headwind, but man, I was doing 95, 100, 105, and the winds, because there's no fairing, was just putting so much pressure on my head and just pushing the helmet. And at some point when I got over 100 miles per hour, it seemed like it was wanting to push the helmet off of my head, and the chin strap was the only thing that kept the helmet on me. So my impressions are, as I said before, this is a fun bike to ride. If you want a versatile bike that's great around town, you can take it on some dirt roads. I would not suggest it for long distance touring or freeway riding, since there's so much wind buffeting. It's so strong without there being a fairing. But at $8,495 retail price, it's a lot of bang for the buck.